Hey YouTube, Lawler here. As always, it's that time of the week where we go through our predictions. That's right. It is the final open for the first split of RLCS 2025. It's NA's turn as we got our top 16 all solidified in a bracket, ready to run it to see who goes to Birmingham. We're feeling pretty confident about our top three, but the fourth one, as you can tell by the title, we're leaving up to circumstances. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if you guys have never watched the RLCS before, after all the stuff comes down and we get all the results, if two teams are tied, it is just a straight up run it back best of 7, which is what we're deciding to go with. A little bit of spoilers. How that comes to be, we'll have to buckle up and show you how we get there. Taking a look at the bracket, we have our teams. But before we get into this, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video sponsor is Prizepicks, the best place to earn cash while watching your favorite sports, or esports in my case. As you guys know, I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and I've been using this app for quite a while, but I've also been really much so enjoying doing this with my chat on streams. While before the matches start on Fridays, we pick a roster. If you guys are unfamiliar, what you can do is you go and see what the matchups are. You kind of find your favorite players that you think are going to have the best advantage. And the way that it goes is I say, okay, I think Energy is going to do really well this weekend. I look at their players and I see what stat is associated to them. Is it goals? Is it assists? Is it save? And do I think they're going to average more or less than that? Based upon how big my lineup is determines on what the payout is. And I have the ability to actually try if I want to go all or nothing, if I only want to get a majority of them right. There is a bunch of different options and a bunch of different ways you can play. If you sign up using code Lawler, you can put in a $5 deposit and they will give you a $50 credit whether you win or lose or not. If you'd like additional details, information can be found in the description below with a link to everything I'm talking about. With that said, let's get back to the video. Looking at the bracket, we've got some pretty straightforward things to talk about. First and foremost, if you can tell already, these groups are not balanced at all. On the left-hand side, you've got complexity and deleted. And you can maybe throw a pity vote in there for Genji as like, you got 3 top 8 teams between deleted, Genji, and complexity. The rest, and in my power rankings, 6 out of the top, like if I was to power rank the top 8 teams, 6 of them are in Group E and only 4 make it out. So it's pretty chaotic. I think Complexity has a free run on their way through. Maybe Genji throws up a fight because they play disruptive, but primarily Complexity is going to be a top 6 lock-in. On the lower half, I don't foresee any of these teams really having a chance at the major. Because of that, it is just kind of circumstantial. It is points that you want to guarantee, though. So for Split 2 and then trying to go to the World Championship, they are things that do add up and make a difference. Deleted has been the most consistent out of them, but at the same time, I could see Omelet playing upset. Pirates in qualifiers in Swiss top 32 did manage to take down NRG and had a really good result. I think they lost to only Shopify Rebellion, and Rebellion's been playing pretty dang well lately. So whether that will be consistent or not, we don't know, because that's the Rebellion way. They show us really, really good stuff, and then they fall apart. So who knows? But I do have Deleted winning a close series against Pirates. I would like to think that the systematic approach of Deleted, clean rotational play, offense heavy, it's going to come down to Andy. It almost always does. I don't foresee Wavy's individuality or his individual pop-off being enough nowadays, but it does help sway things in their favor. But between these two, this could go one way or the other, but it's a guaranteed top 6 if you make it, which is massive, and I don't see either of these teams beating Complexity. So that's just kind of where it's at. If we drop down to lowers, you can see the rest of the results, and I do have Pirates and Genji being the 2 better ones out of that. As a reminder, JNaps is retiring after this event. He is done playing competitively as of the end of Open 3, which is pretty sad to see. Unfortunately, that is not enough of a storyline for me to justify them winning because they haven't been winning throughout the entire season. So, unfortunate, I have them losing lower semis to the Pirates, who move on into our top 8. And the same thing for Genji, but that's probably about as far as it's going to go. A little bit of spoilers there. As we go to the other side of the bracket, this one's pure chaos. I talk about 6 out of my 8. Ultimates, NRG, 9 Lives, Rebellion, Tech, Space Station. I think those teams all have potential to be top 8s. Tech is the only one that you can kind of go up and down on, but I do think Tech is a better team than Deleted. So, and I think we've seen Tech take games off of teams like 9 Lives, Ultimates, NRG. Like, most of their losses are coming from others. The only downfall is because of the sign-up issues last time, we really haven't seen what Tech is made of. With that in mind, I do think Ultimates and Energy win their first rounds. 9 Lives usually does start a little bit slow, but Energy kind of in that regard too. Historically, I could see Ultimates winning this one, but I think Energy is the better team overall, and is going to take it. Outside of that, Rebellion, I am so not sold on this bracket, but it'll make sense when we get there for the way that things play out. Like, these things need to happen in order for my like brain to be happy about the storyline I'm trying to create for this narrative. But I do see Rebellion beating Gas. I don't see any issues there. I think this is a very close series. Could be a coin flip. If Rebellion comes and shows up, they are fully capable of doing it. Space Station seems to be the heavy favorites for a lot of people, but I could see it going either way. Same thing with Tech. Tech has shown moments of brilliance. Their offensive prowess is definitely there when they're on. But then you've also seen times where Calm is literally sitting in net looking like Gibbs. And I'm like, what are you doing? Go challenge the ball. Stop it. Counterattacks are not the way you guys are going to win this. Space Station, I think offensively is just going to overwhelm a lot of people. Maybe Justin and the way he's been playing will be able to combat that. Outside of that, I have seen Energy falter. I've seen Energy have the highs and lows. But what I have not seen is Energy not in a grand final or with the top 6. So I'm going to continue to believe in that. I'm going to continue to have Energy in the spot that they are. But I think maybe Rebellion steals one away. Maybe. Big maybe. On the low side, 9 Lives, although they have lost to Strictly Business in the past, usually that's only in round 1. They do find ways to close it out. They are the better team. That's what I have. On the other side of that, Tech and Gas. Tech did beat Gas last time. I would like to hope that they can do it again. Tech desperately needs points for catch-up reasons, for last chance quals purposes, for, split 2 purposes. So they do have a lot to play for still. Unfortunately, they are running into the big bad ultimates. The reality is like when you have these teams in your uppers, lowers is just going to be even more stacked. Like, these are playoff type-esque plays and matches that I think we're all just happy to be able to see more regularly because of the way this bracket played out. Book holes and all this stuff, the way that this has played out has been very awkward. Seeing some of these teams stacked. We saw the same thing in Europe give us some really cool stories and narratives. Shoutouts to GK and their historic run. But the reality is the way that it goes, if splits and in the Swiss format, you don't see the best teams going 3-0 as they should, then you get for some pretty chaotic seedings. So we get more of that. Space Station 9 Lives, I do think could go either way. I'm going to go with Space Station. I do think they are the true top 4 versus 9 Lives, even though 9 Lives is a clear and decisive 5-6, in my opinion. I think they've earned that title. People forget that this team is 2/3 former Space Station who did go to Worlds, who did compete very, very well. But I think the new gen is here. I think Space Station, those guys, a reality check, a dose of humble pie, whatever you want to call it, with Split 2 throwing their matches and taking things a little bit too leisurely, freestyling and whatnot. I think that's your one freebie. It's time to lock in and show that you are a team capable of making it. Because let's be perfectly clear, if Space Station didn't throw and they made it into top 8 last time like we expected them to, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So last chance, time to lock in. Ultimates over Tech, no surprise there. And then the Ultimates over Space Station. I could also see Space Station win this one, but I have them not doing that for a very specific reason. We then go into our lower bracket, which is our grand finals, our championship Sunday stuff. So on Saturday, we're going to see the 4 matches, these 2, and then lower round 1. In the first 2 matches, we're not going to show just yet because I don't want to spoil the rest of the bracket, but in the last 2 matches of the day, Energy over Complexity. Complexity is consistent, but Energy's got higher peaks. I continue to see Energy at the high. And then Rebellion deleted. Again, I talk about how important this matchup was between Energy and Rebellion, and I kind of selfishly need Rebellion to get the easier matchup, which I do think they smack deleted. I don't foresee that being an issue, which guarantees them a top 4. This will put deleted top 6. This will put Complexity top 6. That would also lock in Complexity for the major. Energy's already there. Complexity's already there. And who is 3-4 is going to be up for debate. As of right now, it's Ultimates. Ultimates should be fine based on what I have going on next. And some of you may see this and go, what the heck are you doing, Lawler? Let me explain. Low side, I don't see a world where Gen G gets anywhere past top 8 with how stacked these matches are, unless they were to get like a deleted or something again, which they did lose to last time in a reverse sweep. But Space Station over Gen G, I talked about this with my chat. While Gen G is disruptive, yes, they are problematic. Space Station was like molded and born in Rank 2's demo ball chase monkey. They're fine. The players, the new generation, they don't get phased by it. They can match the pacing. They're faster, more mechanical in every capacity. Space Station should win that. On the other side, unfortunately for Pirates, Ultimates is too much of a task. Same thing for Deleted. Ultimates is too much for that team. They will overwhelm. They will beat you. Your systematic approach isn't going to handle world-class players. On the other side, Space Station, in my opinion, needs to win this game. If they win this game, then we get some pretty interesting situations. Space Station beating Complexity, I think, is possible. We've seen them make top 2 before. But if they win this one, we then get to see Space Station and Rebellion, and this is literally for a major spot. If Space Station wins this series here, they go to the major, Rebellion's done, it's over. But if Rebellion wins, they get an additional 3 points, and they tie. So Space Station and Rebellion would be tied in 4th place with 17 overall points. And now Rebellion in a grand finals against NRG, if they win, go to the major. If they lose, they have to run it back. They have to play a best of 7 against Space Station again to see who goes to the major. And it comes down to 1 series. If you guys do not remember the World Championship qualifications last year for Split 2, this same thing happened with OG, where going to the major came down to a single best of 7, and it went, to my knowledge, to Game 7 OT with 1 goal determining who did it. Give me that again. I want to watch that again this weekend. I would love to see, after a grueling 5 best of 7 type day, they say, we'll be back in 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Rebellion and Space Station are going to run it back to see who ends up winning. Now, the issue for Rebellion is that's a long day. That is a very long day. Space Station's been sitting cold. Who knows what happens? But for Rebellion, every reason to win against NRG. And if they can't do it, they still got the backup and forcing a tiebreaker. If things go down the way I have them predicted and planned, like I said, tied at 17 for 4th place, Space Station and Rebellion would have to run a single best of 7 to determine who goes to the major to join NRG, Ultimates, and Complexity. I think many of us, although a little boring, have all agreed these were the 3 teams we expected to go to the major, but who the 4th one was going to be up for grabs? Was it going to be Tech? Was it going to be Deleted, 9 Lives, Space Station, Rebellion? We didn't know. And I think this is a great way for it to end. The tiebreaker between the 2 that I think have the most potential. If I'm a betting person, I'm going Space Station, but Rebellion has also shown the highs and the lows, and when they hit their peaks, they're pretty damn good. 3-0 to get into the group stage for GSL bracket. Can they keep consistent? That has always been the question of Rebellion, and selfishly, a chance for Justin to go back to a major in front of a crowd sounds pretty dope. That is what I have for my predictions. Who is going to the major, though? I don't know. Because when it comes down to it, another best of 7 after that, I think that is truly the ultimate coin toss, and I want to see it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you have going to the major. Is it a little bit more clear cut? Do you think things are going to go a little bit more as expected? I personally don't. I don't think they ever do. I know my predictions are going to be wrong, but how we get there is the excitement. I'll be tuned in Friday watching them. Come hang out with us, twitch.tv/Lawler. We'll be doing watch parties and locking in and watching these drops on, all that kind of fun stuff. So come join us. It's greatly appreciated. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoy the content, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you feel down below. We'll be going over playoff scenarios and stuff like that as well live on stream. So don't want to miss it. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.